G'day, my name's Chris and this is Flat Tank Journey. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, been 6 weeks or so. Lots of family stuff going on. If you want to know about that, you can watch at the end of the video and see what happened to my family. If you don't, that's cool. I'm back working on the Velocette. Now, about 7 or 8 weeks ago, I sent the nickel plating away. And look, in the hubbub of my life, I'd almost forgotten that I'd sent it away until I got a message saying it was ready. It's come back. It looks pretty good. I'm really happy. I'm happy with the fuel cap. The brake rod looks fabulous. And the mudguard stays look good too. I got a cap done for the BSA and it's not great. They destroyed the first cap by not realising it was aluminium. And the second cap, they've actually broken the clip and tried to fix it, but didn't do a great job. So that's a bit disappointing. Other than that, everything looks good. Let's crack on, get it onto the bike and see how the old Velo looks. Little Velo, a bit of a clean up. I'd have to say she's looking a bit secondhand. There's dust all over it. I have done a little bit of woodworking in the shed, but there's dust all over the Velo. So I gave her a quick wipe over and look, she looks pretty good, if I'm honest. And the Nickle's going to help set her off. And then we're kind of at a stalemate with it. Let's get this front stay on. It's pretty obvious which side's which. These are a bit hard to shoot. So let's get a different angle and see if I can get this on and you can have a look. Now, because it's been so long, I am pleased that I put the hardware back into the frame and sorted some of that out because it would start getting a bit difficult. So this should just go back in here like that. Now, I always find it difficult after the nickel plating. I always find things grow slightly. Get that back in there. Now, for reference, all of this stuff cost me 330 Australian dollars. I don't mind the price of the nickel plating. It's okay. I think it's expensive, but it looks good. That's going to take a little fighting with. Now that's going to take a lot of fighting with because I just need to restart those threads. Bear with me, I'm going to go and do that and we'll have a go then. I chased those threads, I think is what they'd call it. And it actually wasn't easy to start, which is a bit of a pain in the bottom. But I should have remembered from the last time. The nickel plating just seems to load up the threads a little bit and just holds everything up. Now, I think it had a flat washer, a spring washer, and a dome nut. And I'm guessing the electroplater just plated the brackets with the nuts in place, which was a bit naughty, but that's what I'm guessing has happened because those nuts on the brackets are really hard to move, but we'll see. That looks good. Now I am trying to be a little bit careful of the paint. Freshly painted guards, or, 6 or 8 weeks ago. I might have been harsh. Perhaps they weren't plated in place. That looks fabulous to me. They look really good. I'm going to find a back one and we'll put a back one on and that'll look great. All right, the rear guard. I didn't bore you to death. I've been and done the other side and chased all the threads. They all needed just a skim over. But it all looks pretty good. Now in true Chris fashion, they fit where they fit because I made each one for each place. So when it fits really well, I know I've got the right one because these back ones and the front ones can, front and back are not interchangeable, but left and right are. So when it fits, it fits. There we go. The bolt in the back is bigger, it's 5/16, and the front is 1/4 inch. Because I've been looking at photographs a lot of the rear, and I actually think this mounted somewhere else, or maybe it was the front that mounted differently than what I've got it. Do I care? Oh, a little bit, yeah, but not a super amount, not enough to change it. The guard itself looks good, and the nickel plating looks good. So flat washer, spring washer, dome nut, which is my favourite expression. Because I think the dome nuts just provide a finished look rather than a square nut or hexagonal or whatever it is, whatever shape it is. The dome nuts for me just provide a finished look, and I know they're not necessarily original, but I think they give a good look. I reckon you'll agree. These look pretty smart. There you go. Right, let's have a little close-up of these, and then we'll get on and have a look at the brake rod and see how that fits. It's a little bit hard to see, I suppose, with the, wooden backdrop there. But you can see, bolts up nice. The nickel's got a nice finish to it. And then the dome nuts are actually chrome. In the past, on my Elliott, I got them stripped and nickel coated again. I just couldn't be bothered spending the money this time. I don't think it's worth it. Here's the rear. And the rear, I think, for me, looks better. There's a dome nut there, 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 and holding the stand on. And I think that looks about right to me. Or when I get a look at it, I think, oh, that's smart. That's a good look. Let's have a look at the other side. No great rocket science here. It's actually the same thing, but I'll show you anyway. Here's this really busy section of the rear end with bolts and nuts and all sorts, but it looks okay. The stays look good. The painting came up really well. I was really happy. And here's the front stay. And I'm well pleased with that. If you're confused, I've turned the bike around, it's facing the other way. Here's the brake rod that I made with the adjuster nuts that I was well proud of. Now, I'm a little bit disappointed. It appears the nickel plater has left all of the nuts and everything in place when he nickel plated them. So when you move them, they're rusty underneath. And so any adjustment I make will be obvious as, because there'll be parts that are not plated. So I think he might have dropped the ball there, which isn't like him, and yeah, a bit disappointing. Nonetheless, it is what it is. I could be wrong. Maybe if I cleaned it up, it wouldn't be out of place. Now this end, so that's just a 1/4 inch bolt. and that goes through. This end was a 3/8, I think. Much bigger bolt because that's the hole that was there. And I'm not really sure why the hole was that big, but that's what size it is. I don't want to flog anything out, so that bolts into there. Now, I'd like it a little bit longer, I think. Now, you'll remember I don't suppose it particularly matters, you know. I'm obsessing. Yes, and sadly underneath the nut is not plated. That's disappointing. Let me get another spanner and adjust all this up, and then we'll have a closer look and I'll get over the fact that it's not the way I want it to be. All right, we're together. And sure enough, they haven't nickel plated underneath the nuts. I took it to them assembled, imagining that they would disassemble and plate each piece individually, but they didn't. It is what it is. I'll think about it. I might actually take it back and ask them to redo it. It looks like shit. Disappointed. Let's have a look. Let me have a little whinge first. So you can see the blackish piece, not nickel plated. You can see the little rusty spot and the blackish piece, not nickel plated. Underneath the nut, nickel plated, because they left the nuts exactly where they were, or they polished them on the shaft. The nuts would have spun. The nuts have spun to the end, and they've plated it together with the nuts spun to the end, and the plating's not on the end. Wow. Anyway, look, the brake rod itself looks great. It works, it functions, and 90% of the nickel is really great. 10% of the nickel is just lets it down, and it's actually a really good electroplater, and I think he'd be disappointed in that himself. All in all though, the bike looks fabulous. Well, that was a bit of a downer to finish. I'm a bit disappointed with that. But look, the nickel plating looks pretty good, and I'll probably get over it. The last piece is the cap. Now, I actually got two caps done. I got the cap that I got with the bike. The more I look at it, the more I think, oh, that just doesn't quite fit right. But I got it nickel plate. I thought, oh, you know, it'll cost me 20 bucks or something in the scale of it. Just doesn't screw on right. The one that I got with the torpedo, or the pair, now it screws on really, really well and screws on really, really deep. And I think I'm going to use that because it looks better. And that's what it's all about for me. Listen, that's Flat Tank Journey for this week, or for the last 6 weeks. As in most things I do, this is the real world. This is how it works. Bike just sat in the shed because I was busy doing other things. If you want to know what happened, hang around. If you don't, thanks for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff, and I'll catch you later. This isn't meant to be a woe is me, or feel sorry for me, or have pity on me, or anything like that. It's just meant to know the people that watch regularly and wondered what had happened. And thanks, Tristan, for inquiring about my health. I do appreciate it. It's just to let you know what happened. Listen, I got sick, just influenza, and that was fine. And a couple of weeks laid low. Wife got sick, influenza, worse so, got pneumonia, really crook for a period of time. So that was difficult. Son, and we've got an adult son, he got sick, got better for a week, and then got really sick. So that takes time too. Adult daughter, finally, who never got the influenza, was diagnosed with a rather serious illness. And so we spent a couple of weeks with her at hospital, and then, medical appointments, treatment, stuff, and supporting her through what's a change for her and a life-changing illness. So we've been doing that, and above all else, family first, motorbike second. Occasionally I get it around the wrong way and get the motorbikes first. But no, it's been about family and supporting one another while we've all been ill, in particularly my adult daughter who's not well. So that's where I've been, and that's what's been going on. If you can hang in there and continue to watch the channel while the videos become sporadic, because firstly, you've got to have time, and secondly, you've got to have the inclination. And when I have had time to myself, I haven't had the inclination to work on bikes and make a video. So hang in there if you can. If you can't, and I lose a few subscribers like I have, well, that's okay. I can live with that. It's okay, you move on. If you can hang in, we got more stuff to come. I've got the engine off the BSA, and it's finished, ready, turnkey, so to speak. And I'll show you that in a week or so. In the meantime, take care of one another. Have a good one. Cheers.